Hey, how's it going? This is Josh from Books by Josh, and this is episode 47 of the Books by Josh audio immersion. This episode is titled Solo or Partnership. Well, this episode was inspired by a recent phone call I had the other day. So, let's get started. What do I mean solo or partnership? Well, I'm talking about businesses here. If you're thinking of starting your own thing, should you do it by yourself or as a partnership? You may or may not know this, but I prefer doing things solo. You can't leverage as much, but you maintain full control of the company. And that doesn't mean that you can't have somebody working for you. You can have employees, but you're the one owner. And in the past, I thought of doing a partnership for all this content, but then, as you heard in my episode about voices, I don't like being constrained, like having free thought and free reign to do what I want. And that's why I decided against it. Because of creative differences, things of that nature. I've done partnerships in the past. And it all depends on scalability. What you're trying to accomplish. A blog, a podcast, a YouTube channel, writing books, stuff like that. So it could be a one-man operation, but if you want to launch an actual e-commerce site or build an app, things like that, you need a partnership because it's a lot of work. And that's what the phone call was about. Doing a partnership, as you probably heard in my blog, or read in my blog post, or heard in the last week's episode. It's talking about walking away from a group project, even though the business could make over $100,000 by the end of the year in sales because the motivation in the group wasn't there. I could still do the idea with a smaller group. It's all about leverage. So with a partnership, you find partners who don't have the same strengths as you, but strong in aspects that you're weak in. So social media is something I'm weak in, but I can sell. So if I was to get a partner, I will get someone who's strong in social media, the back end of a business, and I could be the salesman, the numbers guy, stuff like that. You have to play off each other. When I worked for a small business, there was two owners. One was the salesman who knew nothing of the products, how they worked, and the other person knew the products. And that's the main thing. They were complete opposites, but you know how they say opposites attract. And Martin Rutte, said, you have to do it by yourself and you can't do it alone. It's an oxymoron, but just listen. You have to do it by yourself, but you can't do it alone. So you can do it solo, but you won't reach a certain scale. So if you watch YouTube, there's a tech channel called Linus Tech Tips. It's a YouTuber based out of Canada who started doing videos for a computer store, and he branched out and did his own thing, and now he owns his own media group with over 30 employees. In the beginning, he did everything himself. But in order to reach a wider audience and have better quality content, he hired more people. He hired one guy that led to more and more. And it became such a big thing. Most of these people you see, YouTube, Instagram, they start by themselves, which anybody can do. Like I said, you can be solo. But later on, even being solo, you have to hire a team in order to scale. Because you can only do so much. And you can't be up 24 hours a day, every single day. That's why you have other employees, partners, things like that. Because they can handle some of the things. Maybe you get sick. Who's going to produce content for you if you're sick, if you're a content creator? No one. That's why you have an editor who can film things or edit film that you filmed before and work on it and set it to upload for the whole week. And when I was doing another YouTube channel, it was three of us in a partnership and one worker basically. And we filmed one whole day. And then we have content for the entire week. And then we had the same three guys that own the partnership. We did another venture, but the third guy, if we were giving about 100 to 150%, this person was giving 10 to 20%. And the partnership dissolved because of that. Because you can't go into partnerships with friends and family all the time because it won't work out. Because just because you're friends with them doesn't mean they're a great business partner. You have to learn who you can trust to be a business partner, which is why partnerships are hard. It's like finding a husband, wife, whatever. It takes time. You have to get to know the person. And the thing about that is, you can easily get a divorce. But if you build a business, or building a business and it doesn't work out, you lose all your money, time, and effort, and you're back to square one with nothing. And that's why it's hard to pick a business partner. Because if things fail and that was your only option, yeah, it's going to look real bad. So, if you're thinking about finding a business partner, you have to sit down with them. You have to figure out everything. You have to write down their strengths, write down your strengths, write down their weaknesses, your weaknesses. Talk, communicate before you guys sign any kind of deal. Because if you're doing a business, you're going to see that person a lot, especially during the startup phase. First couple of years, you're going to spend 60 to 80 hours a week with that person. They're going to be your most contacted person on your phone. Through texts, through phone calls, through everything, because you want this to work and they want it to work. So this is a tough decision. You shouldn't make this willy-nilly, Think about it. Which is why, like I said, I went solo because I have free reign. And you can try going solo, you can try doing a partnership. It's all up to how you work. I don't know personally how you work. You could send me an email and we could talk, but my type of work, I've worked in partnerships, I worked solo. I prefer working solo because I can control everything. I'm the type of person who likes to be in control and know when this is going to be done, when that's going to be done. And when I've worked in that group, saw how hectic it was working in a group of people, and I didn't want to pursue a partnership because everybody wasn't going to bring the same thing to the table, same amount of effort. Of course, nobody's going to bring the same exact thing to the table, but it's like when you were a kid and you had a party in class. People brought sodas, chips, donuts, whatever, and that one kid just brought spoons. Like, really? Or cups. So that's the whole thing here. Just think about it. Sit down, honestly think. Meditate, sleep on it. I've been offered to go in a partnership for real estate deals. And I even turned that down because, like I said, things can happen in the future. Things might be hunky-dory right now, but in 2 or 3 years, you might have a falling out. There's people I used to talk to 2 years ago that I don't speak with anymore. You understand? You never know what can happen, and that's why I prefer going the solo route. Sure, you can't scale as much being a solo in anything, and partnerships can lead to more fruitful endeavors in the future, but I'm not trying to become J.K. Rowling, rich here, or Gabe Newell. I'm not trying to become a billionaire. I'm just trying to make a living, And that's why I'm an average Josh. And that's it really for this episode of the Books by Josh Audio Immersion. If you enjoyed it, thank you. If you did, thank you for sitting through it all the way to the end. You might enjoy the next one, who knows? But thank you for listening, and you'll catch me, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.